Welcome to another episode of the Bleacher Boys Media Podcast, a special edition of the Bleacher Boys Media Podcast. Today, Isaac Springer, my co-host, could not make it, and Oliver Cotran, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, is joining me.
Oliver Cotran, in fact, actually.
Cotran, sorry.
Original Palestinian pronunciation.
Son of the world-famous surgeon PC.
That's correct. That's correct.
A good friend of mine. Love everything about the kid except for the fact that he's a die-hard Red Sox fan. Not gonna lie,
And that sure is true facts.
Evaldi.
Red Sox fan.
I actually chipped in a little bit of my pocket change with to
He
buy
did.
that.
He did. Under great duress, very reluctantly contributed from his deep pockets to fund this jersey, and I'm eternally grateful for it. I have not yet bought him a Yankees jersey in return, nor do I plan to. But
shout out Ali and Linus for the idea.
Shout out,
I did chip in.
Dear Ali and Linus. Ali is just down the street from you right now, I assume, or probably in the next room, ready to hop on and support my side of the case. As a fellow Red Sox fan.
Ali, big Red Sox fan. I've been to his house a couple times. It's just filled with Red Sox stuff. It's disgusting, to be honest with you. So this is why Ali was not my first choice.
I bring it out when you're there. It's not always full of Red Sox stuff. It's when you come by is when we have to put on the whole pony show.
Yeah. Well, all funny jokes. I mean, great kid. I think we have one of the best sports or baseball arguments and trivia. We just have so much fun doing that stuff. So hopefully this will be a great episode, a banger of an episode. As we will dive into the pitchers of Major League Baseball, we want to talk about the AL and National League top pitchers in both leagues. We came up with a list of 10 best pitchers for both leagues, and I think me and Ollie will have some differences in our lists. I don't know about you, but I think you're going to be surprised with a couple of my selections here.
I think you're going to be very surprised with my selection. You're going to be on the floor with my selections here, buddy. I have to be honest with you.
Guys, Ollie is one of, I don't know anyone else who remembers, specific games and specific stats from games as clearly as this man does. Just for an example, he remembers every single Red Sox game he's been to and the score of...
This is true.
Everything.
Pitchers, everything.
And by the way, Evaldi's jersey was shown before earlier, but this man's love for Evaldi is on another planet. He plans to propose to him next year, I believe.
I do. I think I've tried many times, but he has this so-called wife that keeps getting in the way.
Just quick, what was his best and worst start of 2021?
Best start of 2021?
Off the top of your head.
Would have been June 26th against the Yankees, 7 2/3 innings, only 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts, 7 hits. I believe he threw 109 pitches.
Fact check this kid. He's
won
not
that
lying.
Game 4-2. He could have thrown a complete game shutout, but he just threw one bad pitch. DJ LeMahieu put in the right field bullpen. That ended his night, but it was still a beautiful performance. His worst start, of course, also came against the Yankees on September 25th. Or September 24th,
that one I do remember.
2021. That was 7 runs over 2 2/3. A truly disgusting performance.
I was with Ollie that weekend, actually, and I was just
We were there that night.
Yeah.
He threw way too many cutters. Didn't have command of the splitter, and just it was atrocious. And but he made up for it as much as only he can.
We don't have to talk about the wild card game
so
here.
I'm just saying. It's a scoreboard, man. It's there. I know we don't have to talk about it because it's common knowledge for the world at this point.
Okay,
anyway.
This Evaldi Talks transition just perfectly into the AL top 10 starting pitchers list. So as I said before, me and Ollie came up with the 10 best. We ranked the top 10 pitchers in the AL. So who wants to go? You want to go first or?
I'll go first. I'll take it first. All right. So I'm gonna go with my top 10. At 10, I have newly installed Blue Jays ace Kevin Gausman.
Okay.
At Number 9, I have the Japanese two-way superstar Shohei Ohtani.
Interesting.
Number 8, I have my man who we just named, number 1, King of Alvin, Texas, Nathan Eovaldi.
Okay.
Number 7, I have another Blue Jays player, the erstwhile rookie, the owner of that beautiful gyro slider, Alec Manoa.
Wow.
Whoa,
wait. Pause. You ranked Manoa above Eovaldi?
I have Alec Manoa. I did.
Wow. Shocker.
I did. Actually, I gave them the exact same wins above replacement value, 4.5 wins. So they're actually in the same spot. But I believe that if one of them were going to have a higher value, it would be Manoa. And I'm happy to get into that in a moment. But let me keep the list. Number 6, I have the underrated John Means of the Orioles. Another hot take.
Wow. That's
Casey
another hot take.
Mize. I have Casey Mize up there at number 5. I do, and I will gladly go into why I think these are all legitimate picks. Number 4, this one will make you cry for who I have for number 4 in the American League. None other than the right-hander from the Cleveland Indians, Tristan Mckenzie, is my number 4 in the American League.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Stop.
Number three, I have your man Garrett Cole of the New York Yankees.
3.
And for 2 and 1, I have my 2 aces of the Chicago White Sox. Number 2, Lucas Giolito. Number 1, Dylan Cease.
Whoa, okay, we have so much to unpack here, guys. This is gonna take at least half the episode trying to discuss Oliver's thought process behind his rankings. Where do I even start? I don't even know where to start. Okay, let's start at the top. You have Dylan Cease as the best pitcher in the American League.
I do, and I'm fully confident in that. I don't think that's even that controversial at this point. This guy is disgusting. He passes the sight test better than any pitcher I've seen in a long time. He has the most beautiful knuckle curveball in the game. He's got a slider knuckle curveball combination that's disgusting, and he's got an excellent fastball and a seriously underrated changeup. His changeup is about 20 miles per hour slower than his fastball on average. He throws it like 77, 78. He's got a ton of movement. If he can trust, all he needs to do is trust that pitch a little bit more, throw it 5-8% of the time, he's going to be unhittable. He had a lot of bad luck last year, ran into a lot of unlucky at-bats against good hitting teams like the Sox and the Yankees. But there were times when he put on performances that would have just shocked you. I mean, his numbers suffered because he got taken out of games early. La Russa didn't trust him. But I think this year, he's going to have all limits off, no water wings, no handicaps, no training wheels. He's going to be let loose. And he is ripe for success. He's in a division with a lot of weak hitting teams. His numbers are going to be fantastic.
That is true.
He simply has the best stuff in the league right now. Better than Shane Bieber's, in my opinion. So that's just... all you have to do is go and watch it. Baseball Savant has countless videos of Dylan Cease pitching. I could show you one right now. And this guy, no matter where you look, no matter what ballpark, no matter what camera angle you look at, his curveball is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And that pitch is going to be a difference maker for him.
I mean, knew
his numbers are... He had the lowest FIP on his team this year except for Rodon. 12.3 strikeouts per 9. Walk rate's been going down every year.
I know
He's
you have the projections.
He's 25.
Yeah, I know you have the projections.
I'll give you projected numbers.
Yeah, give me those.
Our projections for him are very ambitious. I'll admit they're very ambitious. But he's been trending in the right direction his whole career. You look at his career numbers, he's been trending in every statistic in the right direction. Let's look at his projections for this year. I have Dylan Cease
my bad.
I have him winning 18 games over 32 starts, 194 innings, 264 strikeouts, 264, and a wins above replacement of 7.6 wins.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
And I will stand by that, and I'll be watching when he gets announced as the he's brilliant. He's the ace of that staff in my opinion, even more than Giolito is the ace, but Cease is the most talented pitcher.
Wow. I'm just shocked that you have Cease over. So if you had the choice between Cole or Cease for the Red Sox rotation next year, you would take Cease? I
would take Cease.
This is a hot take. Either this gets clipped as Oliver being a genius, or we're gonna be bashing him by the end of the year.
Cease was not that much worse than Cole this year, buddy. He wasn't. The numbers are close.
No, I agree with you. He has amazing stuff. I've watched a couple of his starts. I didn't get to watch a lot of White Sox games, to be honest with you. But I mean, at number 1, that's you're going out there on the limb.
I'm not interested in these safe choices. I don't take the safe choices. I take risks.
Okay, if you look at my list, I just went with the safest picks. I think you had Mckenzie at 4. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I did have Mckenzie at 4. Tristan Mckenzie is, I'll admit that's a bold choice. But I'm happy to support it too. I have him. First, let me give you his projections. Well, that's what you think. Let me give you his projections. I have Mckenzie winning 13 games over 30 starts, ERA of 3.0. Oh, sorry, I didn't mention Cease's ERA. I had 2.6 while leading the league. Mckenzie, I have an ERA of 3.08, 187 and 2/3 innings, 223 Ks, and a wins above replacement of 5.1. And I think all those numbers are achievable for him. They're not even that ambitious because this guy... Actually, the conversation I would like to have about my current philosophy for what I imagine pitchers doing next year is that there are 3 pitchers in the American League who essentially have the same makeup, and who I think are all going to take really big steps forward. And those are Cease, Mckenzie, and Nick Pivetta of the Red Sox. These guys are all right-handers who are tall, lanky. They rely on a 4-seam slider curve combination, 4-seam knuckle curve slider.
Okay.
Essentially have about the same velocity. Mckenzie's the slowest velocity, but Mckenzie also has the best secondary stuff, except for Cease. So I see Mckenzie as basically a slightly worse version of Dylan Cease. But what I saw last year was he actually in that 7-start stretch he had where he was the best pitcher in the league in August and September, and pitching against good teams too, was he figured out his pitching. So it wasn't that he was lucky. It wasn't that he suddenly started missing bats. Wasn't suddenly started getting a lot of weak contact. He actually made adjustments to figure out how he needed to pitch hitters better. And what he did was start locating his fastball at the top of the zone and throwing his slider to right-handers and his curveball to left-handers. Okay. So I think early in the season he was making a mistake of leaving a lot of sliders up to left-handers, leaving a lot of curveballs up to righties, when what he needed to do was trust his slider off the outside corner for righties and try to freeze lefties with that curveball, which you can see him doing beautifully against the Angels and Royals this year. Mm-hmm. He's got a really nice slider curveball combination. His curveball is a real old-style slow piece, mid-70s. Yeah. Great change of pace offering. Slider's very sharp, and he's got brilliant command of both those pitches when he's on. Mm-hmm. And his walk rates were low this year. He had a really nice whip, pretty solid FIP. His weakness was just the home run. He gave up some long balls, and those things tend not to last year by year. So I see him taking a big step forward. Mm-hmm. The biggest issue with Mckenzie is his physical makeup. He's so thin, of course. He's like 6'5", 165, very skinny guy. But we've seen pitchers with unusual makeups have a lot of success before. I need to mention Tim Lincecum, of course, example of that. And while we know what happened to Lincecum. We did have 3 or 4 years where he was the best pitcher in the game. Mm-hmm. So I see Mckenzie. He's 23. He's very young. I'm not sure he'll get up to 180 innings. He might settle more in the 140, 160 range, depending on how the Indians manage him. But because his strikeout numbers are so good, and he only gave up 6.3 hits per 9 innings last year, if he lowers those walks, if he keeps that fastball at the top of the zone, he's going to be filthy. And he pitched for the Indians in a pitcher's park. I see a lot of great numbers for him. He's got a solid makeup. He's a professional pitcher. He knows how to do it. He's got great instincts. And
I agree.
I'm a huge fan of Mckenzie. That's why I believe in that pick.
Yeah, he's a solid pitcher. I just don't know if he's the 4th best AL pitcher. I think my counter argument would be he came up 2 years ago, I believe, midseason, and he broke out on the scene pretty, he pitched very well that year.
He did. Good memory. 2020, yep.
And he took a step back last year at the beginning of the season, obviously. Middle of the season, he was lights out there, and I picked him up in fantasy and things like that. Anyway, I think what would you say to people who think maybe the hitters adjusted to Mckenzie's stuff, and now that they have the data and analytics to counter what Tristan Mckenzie's trying to do out there?
Well, I just don't think there's evidence for that. I just don't think there's evidence in the video record that hitters are adjusting to his pitches late in the season. I mean, he had a couple of unlucky starts at the end of the year. I'll give you that. But there wasn't a consistent pattern of hitters, sitting back on the slider, sitting back on the curveball, waiting for the high fastball, laying off it for me to say that they were actually making conscious adjustments, because I've watched all these starts. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's a luck factor with him. And, you can't depend on having a run of 7 starts in a row that were as good as his run was is pretty unusual. Mm-hmm. And just adjusting for, means and averages, you're going to have a couple of bad starts after a run like that, no matter how good you are. And so, to me, it's not actually surprising that he had that little hiccup at the end of the season, those 3 bad starts that he had. And I just don't think there's evidence that there was some kind of huge sweep of adjustments against him, against these hitters in the American League. So I think that a lot of hitters are going to be sleeping on him this year.
He also does pitch in the Central again, so there's an advantage there.
Exactly.
Is there anyone else you would like? What was another ambitious pick you had there?
Casey Mize, number 5. Also ambitious.
Come on, dude. That's very ambitious.
Casey Mize had some excellent numbers this year. Underappreciated. His FIP was a little high, I'll give you that. He tends to give up a lot of home runs, and his strikeout per 9 numbers not great, but he had a whip of just 1.14. Pretty low hits per 9, just kind of like Mckenzie does. And he's got an excellent makeup. I like his fastball a lot. I like his curveball, and I like his command. And I think with pitchers like Mize, who are so dependent on, movement, weak contact, getting weak contact, getting ground balls, they tend to follow a certain pattern of having one good year and one bad year, sort of alternate good and bad years. People like Britt Porcello was like that. Bartolo Colon was like this. And he had a bad year last year, so I'm predicting a swing in the opposite direction. I'm predicting, just because he's 25 now, he's got so much experience in the game that he can swing back in the opposite direction. Also, pitching the AL Central is a part of that too. But I just don't think that his FIP is going to be as high as it was last year. I think it's going to take a serious drop down. I also see his strikeouts probably adjusting more to his normal career level. And so I think all those are going to contribute. And also, I'm kind of guessing that he won't give us many home runs. It's possible that he will. But I just don't think it's feasible for him to give as many as he did last year again. And so for all those reasons, I'm predicting Cease just really turns around from where he was last year and brings that ERA down to 3.47. I can give you my projections for him too. I had him 15 wins over 33 starts,
15 wins for
games.
the Detroit Tigers. Wow.
Yes, exactly. Well, I also am very bullish on the Tigers this year for a lot of reasons, but not just pitching wise. But 15 wins, 160 Ks over 181, and a WAR of 4.6. So I don't think 4.6 is really that ambitious for him. He was 3.2 last year, so that's only a drop of 1.4.
Yeah.
Remember, a lot of my rankings are also dependent on other pitchers taking steps back, as opposed to pitchers just taking steps forward. I predict some regression for a lot of guys, including guys in the Yankees. And so I'm trying to balance regression versus progression for these pitchers, because it might be worthwhile right now to take a look at the top 10 WAR leaders. I'm not sure how much you've looked at this particular list, but the top 10 WAR leaders in the AL for this year might surprise you, the names that are on that list. Because you had John Means at number 8, Bassett number 8, Quantrill was number 10, Eovaldi was 5. Wins above replacement is a finicky statistic, and there are obviously a lot of ways of assessing pitchers, but I think what we agreed upon was this was our way of assessing, overall, who's going to be the most effective pitcher. This is the most valuable. And so for me, Mize is at this moment more valuable next year than Means or Manoa or Eovaldi or Ohtani.
Manoa is also an interesting pick there. I like your list
Manoa
there.
is
Go ahead.
Manoa is another side test option. His slider is one of the top 5 most devastating pitches in the league right now. It's probably the best slider in the league, except maybe Tanner Houck's. Well, for starting pitches, it's probably the best in the league, unless Sale comes back. He's better than Garrett Cole's slider, clearly.
I might give you that.
Actually, he throws it for strikes. It's a high velocity slider. It's got that nasty gyro movement. He can throw it to righties or lefties. He backfoots it against lefties. He can put up some seriously nasty numbers against left-handed hitters, and that's going to serve him very well in the American League right now. And he doesn't give up a lot of home runs because of how nasty that pitch is. He just needs to trust his sinker a little bit more. He's had a little trouble with the sinker this year with command of it, with leaving in the middle of the zone, and that's an easy adjustment to make. So I see Manoa next season coming back with a new and improved sinker, and that's going to balance his slider beautifully. That's going to sustain him through a lot of longer starts. I see him pitching 7th, 8 innings often. I have him, I have him right now at something like, let's see. Yeah, I have him at 168 innings, which I think is totally feasible for him over 29 starts, 15 wins, 2.94 ERA, 184 Ks, and a 4.5 WAR. I really don't think that's that ambitious for him. I think he's
that's
one of the most talented young pitchers in the game. His peripheral numbers last year were outstanding. I mean, let's just look at his K to walk ratio for one thing. He had the K to walk of 3.18, 10.2 strikeouts, 6.2 hits per 9, a whip of 1.05. These are all the numbers that you look at for assessing how good a pitcher is going to be year to year. His FIP down to 3.8. He does give up a little bit too many home runs, I would say. That's his one weakness. But a lot of young pitchers have that problem. Same problem that Mckenzie and Cease have had. And it's a thing that tends to, pitchers that have success in these leagues tend to sort of work through that problem early in their careers. That's what happened to Clayton Kershaw, it happened to Max Scherzer, happened to Verlander too. They tend to cut down on the home runs because they stop leaving pitches in the middle of the zone. And because it's happened before, I see it happening again. I also tend to have a lot of confidence in right-handed pitchers in this league. I think that the record just supports them having a lot of success, Robbie Ray aside. For those reasons, I'm very bullish on Manoa. I just want to look at show you his strikeout walk rates as well, because these were impressive too. So last year, if you look at his advanced pitching, he was looking at a strikeout rate of 27.7 versus an 8.7 walk rate. And that's pretty good as it is, but that walk rate's going to come way down, I guarantee you. His hard hit percentage is only 31.2%. That's elite. Exit velocity average 86.8. Those are elite numbers. He gets weak contact. That slider is disgusting, dude. I mean,
I agree with you.
You can't look at him and say this guy is not a top 10 pitcher in the league.
I think what I would say is
he's the best pitcher on the team too.
Okay. I don't even want to get into my picks.
He's the best pitcher on that. He's so filthy on that team.
I'll talk about that later. I think what I would say is that I agree with your projections, like the numbers and stats that you projected for these players, more than I do with the rankings. If that makes sense, I feel like your stats weren't as out there as the placement of the rankings. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, go ahead.
Well, it's a good conversation to have because I'm assessing players based on wins above replacement, which is a problematic stat. And so I should have mentioned a huge part of my ranking here has to do with the ballparks people pitch in because that's probably the biggest influence on wins above replacement is your home ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
And Manoa's pitching in a hitter's park, Mckenzie's in a pitcher's park, but Cease and Giolito are both in a very neutral park. Guaranteed Rates Field is one of the most neutral, neither hitter nor pitcher's parks in the league, and that's why I put their WAR so high because they're not going to be impacted by playing in a pitcher's park. Guys like you guys who pitch for the Athletics or for like the Indians often have their WAR take a little bit of a hit because they're in a pitcher's park. In the NL that happens a lot too, like in Dodger Stadium. But that's why I think you might see a little bit of surprises in my WAR rankings, as also for John Means too. Mm-hmm. That's just one of the explanations. So yeah, I'm not sure how much you accounted for that in your rankings, but we'll see when it comes to be.
Yeah,
I also want to mention that.
Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm also relying. I just think this is a good time to do a little bit of a plug here and note that my baseball Bible here, the annual Windy Sports Fantasy Magazine. You don't have this magazine. This is the annual Windy Sports Fantasy Ranking. Ranks every player in the game at their position, and this is my Bible for assessing players. It's super detailed, goes deeply into the advanced peripheral stats and technical stats on each player.
Oh, I gotta get my hands on that.
These guys are very confident on Alec Manoa. And even they make mistakes sometimes. If they're very confident in Alec Manoa, they're very confident on my man Tristan Mckenzie. And so this was definitely a factor in my assessments. Okay. They're also confident on your boy Garrett Cole. So they got something to say.
They got something right.
Anyway.
What I was gonna say is I would say one thing about your list is that I'm just afraid a couple of those guys or a few of those guys at the top of your list there, you might be a couple years away from I would just give them 1 or 2 more years for them to develop into that elite pitcher category of pitcher. That I feel like you're just trying to get ahead of the curve there a little bit with some of the guys. And I agree that Cease is a very good pitcher, and these guys are obviously uber talented. But I just don't know if this is the year for all of these guys to break out at the same time.
You're totally right. That's totally a fair point. I am being very ambitious with these young pitchers because I love young pitchers and I want them to succeed. Again, this is where
it's also really exciting to watch and
really exciting to watch. Yeah. I'm rooting for them to succeed. Will all 3 of these guys have tremendous success? Probably not. But I believe I have 90% certainty that at least one of these pitchers, one of these 3, Cease, Mckenzie, or Manoa, is a top 10 pitcher this year. I'm not sure which one it's going to be. But it's got to be one of those 3. Cease has been in the league longer than you think. He's already got 300 innings under his belt in the major league, so this dude's legit.
Okay,
Cease is the one I have the most confidence in.
You're not gonna like my list with what just came out of your mouth there. My list focused more.
Is Cease not on your list?
Cease, I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm just gonna say. I'm just gonna say this. I went with what you would call safer picks, bigger names, guys I trust now. I have here a little five-man list of the guys that just missed the cut of the top 10. I have Glasnow, who's hurt. He would have made the list if he was healthy. Okay. Framber Valdez at 12. Or these guys aren't ranked. 12. That's my second guy.
He was also in my bubble, Valdez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shane McClanahan, another guy that maybe if he was on a different team, I would rank higher. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's an amazing talent. 100 from the left side. Just gross. John Means, right outside the top 10 for me. He just doesn't have that flashy stuff that the other guys have.
No.
Obviously a great pitcher, and I feel like he goes under the radar very often.
I think he does.
I might be playing a part in that now, but I think he's just missing out in the top 10 here in the AL. I have also Lance McCullers just missing the cut as well. I think he's hurt right now, though, right? So I think
the injury history with him
that's kind of pushing him down a little bit for me. Yeah. I think stuff-wise, he's right there with the elite guys. He showed it in the playoffs last year before he got hurt that he can really carry rotation. But starting off top 10, number 10, I have Chris Sale. I think it was hard. So at first I made this list, I had Glasnow in there, so Sale missed the cut and he was on the bubble. With Glasnow being bumped down now, I think I have Sale at number 10. Obviously he hasn't pitched a whole lot in the last 2 years. His last full season was in 19, I believe. Not full season. He pitched 25 games, 6-11, 4.4 ERA. Not great. 2018 was his dominant Chris Sale year, his last Chris Sale year. But I think
the best
he can,
year of his career, yeah.
Yeah, I think he can bounce back nicely. He pitched last year 5-1, 3.16 ERA in 9 games. I think he's just that elite level talent that I don't think he can go very much longer without pitching another great season. I don't think he's going to be a Cy Young level pitcher, but definitely top 10 in the AL. At number 9, I have Luis Severino, another guy that hasn't pitched in a while. Great stuff again. I'm banking on these guys to be healthy, but I had to add my boy Sevy in there. I mean, come on. At number 8, I have the Mariners ace now, Robbie Ray, 2021 Cy Young winner. It was just hard. I kept bumping him down. I didn't want to add him on this list, really, to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to have that same year. I think he had an outstanding year last year, 6.7 WAR there in Toronto.
Yeah, but his peripheral numbers, we can talk about it afterwards. His peripheral numbers,
I just don't trust him repeating
doubtful.
What he did and seeing his stats from his previous years. I just don't think he can repeat the amazing season he had. At number 7, another guy that I trust on bouncing back, Shane Bieber. When he's healthy, I just really, really like this guy. The way he paints the corners on the outside corner with his fastballs, he has that precise command that not a lot of pitchers have, and he's gross sliders. Fastball, again, there's like a video on YouTube of him just painting the outside corner with his fastball, and that's just like porn to me anyway. Shane Bieber, I have at number 7.
It's beautiful.
It is very beautiful. At number 6, Justin Verlander, kind of like the same argument I had with Sale. I think he's too great of a pitcher to not be top 10 in the American League. I don't know if he'll be this high at number 6, middle of the pack here in the top 10 list. But his last full season, 2019, he went 21-6, 2.58 ERA, threw a no-hitter, 7.4 WAR. I mean, when this guy's on the bump, won this Cy Young. I mean, Cole should have had it, but anyway, Verlander, when he's on the mound, he's just great. There's no weakness in his game. At number 5, I have Shohei Ohtani. I think he's going to take a really big step forward here on the pitching side of the ball. Obviously, great hitter, two-way player, Shohei, the GOAT. Anyway, I think his weakness last year and previous years with his pitching was his command. He walks way too many guys. That's just the number one thing on his weakness.
That's true.
I think he's getting you now. Like he pitched 23 games last year.
He doesn't
3.18.
He doesn't throw the splitter for called strikes ever. Is the thing.
Not really. No.
In the zone, which is probably wise, but.
My argument with Ohtani improving, I think he picked up a cutter middle of the year, which he started to throw more often.
He did. People forget about that cutter.
No,
I'm glad
people don't know about this.
People have been really sleeping on. He threw that like 15% of the time too.
His ground ball rate on the cutter is high.
Yeah.
And if he can get some quick outs with that, he can go deeper into games. Obviously, the Angels really need him to step up big.
They do.
And his command issues, I think, will only improve. Keep going. You could go. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well. I have a lot to say about the Angels this year. I'm not sure. It might not fit for this particular episode. But if there was a time, maybe later today if we have time, I'd love to get to the Angels a little bit. But go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I would definitely want to hear that. So I have Ohtani there at 5. And number 4 from your Boston Red Sox, repping the jersey, Nathan Eovaldi.
Oh, number 4?
Number 4 in the American
League.
Top 4.
Oh, yeah! Woo! Good shit, man.
I mean, honestly, I hate on Eovaldi just to be difficult with you, but I think he's a very good pitcher, solid pitcher. I don't know if he's the ace of a championship level team, but he's solid, man. I don't think he has many weaknesses in his game. 11-9, 3.75, 4.6 WAR last year, and I tend to give credit to guys who are healthy and out there on a regular basis. And Eovaldi, I feel like I don't want to jinx anything for you, but his injury history's past him now, and he's really comfortable in Boston there, Texas boy. I think he's gonna have another big year. At number 3, I think this is my bullish pick of my list here. I have a guy you didn't even have on your list, Jose Barrios, traded over from the Twins to the Blue Jays. He has nasty strikeout stuff. I think he can really, really take that step forward. Second year in Toronto. Last year, he had really good stats, 12-9, 3.52, 3.2 WAR. Pitched in Minnesota half the year, so I think that contributes to a little bit of down year in terms of stats. But his stuff is just right there. He got that big extension in Toronto, so he's comfortable there now. all settled in. I think he can have a really big year. And, yeah, I think you said Manoa. If Manoa lives up to your hype and Berrios lives up to my hype, I think and Gosman was in your top 10 as well, right? So
he was.
The Blue Jays could be scary with Hyunjin Ryu at number 4, maybe. Always underrated.
Can I ask, what do you have for your projections for Berrios stat-wise?
I actually do have that. I sent that to you today, actually. Let me pull that out real quick.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that.
Here, I got it.
There he is. So you have
for
3.65.
12 and 11, 365, 33 starts, 207 innings, 231 strikeouts, 4.7 WAR.
So we have pretty much we have actually, this is interesting. We have very, very similar Berrios projections in terms of stats, but you have his WAR at 0.7. I have it at 0.1. So for me, he's just below the cutoff. I have him 4.1. So yeah, I guess I see that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see it more. You guys will see it more when we go to the National League side of things. But American League pitchers, I feel like there's a lot more ways to rank these guys. National League, I feel like there's more of a set list that we're gonna
there is.
double up on. But yeah, Berrios, I think it's more fun this way anyway. Berrios at number 3. At number 2, I have from the Chicago White Sox. His name is not Dylan Cease. I have Giolito there, Lucas Giolito.
He was my number 2. So that's
was he really?
That might be our
Oh
one,
yeah, he was your number 1 too.
There you go.
There we go. Giolito at number 2, 11 and 9, 3.53 last year, 4.3 WAR. He's one of the premier pitchers in the league, and there's no question about it.
Changeup is a beautiful thing.
It really is.
Best changeup in the game, except for maybe because Devin Williams.
No hitter last year. I mean, that guy, when that guy's on, you put him up against anyone. Garrett Cole at number 1.
2020 no hitter. Just saying.
Oh, 2020 no hitter. My bad. Garrett Cole number 1. I think anyone would have guessed that. This is a Yankees pod. I'm not gonna do my boy like that, and I do believe he's the best pitcher in the American League. Last year, 16 and 8, 3.23, 5.7 WAR in 30 games. I don't know what you can say about this guy, except for I mean, I know people want to talk about the wild card game. I think there's a little bit of an injury thing going on there with his hammy. I know he shouldn't take the ball if he's hurt, but
that time.
He definitely wasn't at his best. I don't want to hear any of the spider tack thing either. He had some insane games after that, after he stopped using it, including
that
the
shutout
9-inning
against
shutout against Houston.
Yeah.
Like a double-digit 14 or 15 strikeout game. I mean, he's fine. He'll be there. He's Garrett Cole, and that's my $324 million man. So there's my list. Do you have any comments, disagreements?
I have lots of thoughts on your list. I would love to. I think, we've been talking so much about how I'm making all these crazy picks and I'm somehow way off. But I think you and I are actually agreeing way more than we think, because a lot of the guys you mentioned are in my bubble. They're right on the edge. For example, I have Sale in my bubble. I have Ray in my bubble. I have Berrios in my bubble. I think these guys are close to, the point. And we also agree on, and we both have Ohtani, Evaldi, Giolito, Cole in this list. It's just the placement that's a little bit off. Yeah. But, I think the one thing I'm really dubious about is Shane Bieber, and there's a lot of reasons for that. One biggest thing is injury. That guy has a very demanding delivery, and he's got a very, I think, he's a high-risk guy for me in terms of injuries. Violent delivery. He relies so much on that violent knuckle curve and the violent slider. I don't actually like his slider that much. I think he's more about the curveball, but these things do a lot of damage to his elbow and that really hard fastball. I just don't think he has the physique to be pitching the way that he does. And I think that he was a guy who put together a couple really strong years when he was fully healthy, when he was strong. And now I'm just predicting a big downturn until he's basically a league average pitcher, number 2, number 3. That being said, my projections for Bieber this year were, I think, fair. They were, they were workable. I mean, I had him 3.75 over 156 innings, 183 Ks, and a 3.1 WAR. So I had him as a solid number 3 in any staff in the game. But you're putting him, I think, at the ace level he was at in 19 and 20. He's just not there anymore, buddy, because, I hate to say the ST word, but spider tack was a much bigger factor for him than it was for Cole. That guy was, patient zero. He was the prime example of a guy who was relying way too much on spider tack to give him movement on his pitches. So for those reasons, I don't even see him as a top 15 pitcher at this point.
Wow. Okay.
I don't. I'm not on the Bieber train. I may live to regret these words right now, and if they do, then you can put my face up on the wall of shame. But Shane, I am not Team Shane right now.
Totally fair argument there. I think with a lot of my guys, not just Bieber, I'm really hoping for an injury-free season for most of these guys. I have a lot of injury risks on my top 10 list, and I'm just banking on these guys.
I like the Severino pick too. I actually have him also almost in my bubble. I had him 4.1 wins above replacement. What did you have for?
I had 4.1 too.
Okay, so we're at the same point.
We're
I had
right there,
3.19, 142 innings, and 165 Ks. Because
wait, did I have 4.1? No, sorry. 4.1 was his WAR from his last full season.
What
did I have?
Let me see. You had 3.3. Okay.
3.3.
So actually,
you were actually higher on Sevy. I like how
I'm big team Sevy. I mean, you have his ERA much higher than I had it. I had 3.19 ERA.
Yeah.
And we had about the same amount of innings, but I think Sevy. We saw that changeup in action together. I was with you.
Yeah.
We saw that happen. That thing is a beautiful tertiary pitch. Going to be way easier for his arm than that slider. I think he should become a sinker changeup guy, in my opinion. If he did that with his command, with his makeup, with his gamesmanship, he's going to be
sinkers.
Nasty,
bro. That's the first time I've heard that. You don't like his 100-mile-per-hour fastball?
That's what I'm saying.
Four-seamer? You just
said
said
sinker?
No.
I thought it was a sinker.
That's a four-seamer, I think.
Wait. Are you sure? Let me look at. You're kidding. I thought it was a sinker. Who am I thinking of? Am I thinking of Lucas Gill?
Lucas Gill. I mean, if anyone, I think Cease has a really nice sinker.
Cease is not through a sinker at all, bro.
Are you sure about that?
Oh, no, you're totally right. It's a four-seam. Okay, so I'm wrong about Sevy. Okay, never mind. He should be a four-seam changeup guy. That's what he should do. I take it back. He should throw four seams and changeups.
That is my fault. My camera just fell. Let me.
Oh, no worries.
Let me pause that.
No worries.
Pause this recording real quick. A little bit of a technical difficulty on my end here. My camera died, so we got a little webcam going. I don't know exactly where we were.
I think here we were just so.
Oh, we're talking.
I was just going over. I was just going over your top 10 briefly. I just have a couple more small things to say, then we can do our Cy Young candidates or go to the National League. So the other guy I'm not so sure of is Justin Verlander. He is 38. Remember, and he's coming off of Tommy John. And if he were 5 years younger, coming off of Tommy John, I'd be on that train big time. That being said, if there was any pitcher in the game who could come back from Tommy John and regain Cy Young form, it would be Justin Verlander.
There's
anyone who could do it,
there.
it would be that guy. But it's not a statistical thing. It's just that's who he is. That's his character. This guy's an absolute monster of a human being. So I got to look at my projections for Berlander. I think I had him. I think my issue with him is I just don't think he's going to give you the innings. I think he'll give you quality innings, but it's not going to be a lot of them. Actually, no, I just had him going 175 with 3.74 ERA. I think his Ks are going to go down. I'm just not sure. We have to watch the velocity when he comes back. If he's sitting like 92, 94, those Ks are going to come way down. But he can still make it as a finesse pitcher for sure.
His spin rate's also one of the best that we've ever seen. So even at 94, 95.
It was one of the best.
Okay. Well, that is true. That is very true. The Astros must have been on some spider tack insane.
Bro, come on. No, not because spider tack, just because that guy had a healthy elbow once upon a time. But
so with Verlander, that's a completely fair argument. Health is a big question mark with him. I don't know, man. I just can't. That was my
number.
That was
5. That's very.
No, 6.
You're putting him in like the sixth best pitcher. You're putting him sixth best pitcher in the league.
Yeah. So that was my big concern with Verlander. Coming off Tommy John at 38. I just can't count him out. His name is as long as his name is Justin Verlander, I will be high on this guy. He's just amazes me every year. Like, remember when he had that little dip in his career in Detroit, and we all thought his career was coming down, and then comes back, and he wins 21 games, no hitter, and Cy Young. And I feel like I just don't want to get burnt by Verlander. I don't want to count him out just yet.
You're right.
That's just
You're making me question a lot of things about myself right now. You're making me giving me a lot of doubts. I'm gonna be tossing and turning over this all night. And if Verlander comes back and a vengeful ghost on me, but I'm confident in my pick. I'm not putting in my bubble yet, but I'm gonna reserve the right to admit my own wrongness in the future.
Gotcha.
All right.
So
I think we're good on the AL.
Yeah, let's guess each other's dark horse though for the AL.
All right. I'll guess your Cy Young first. Yeah.
Okay. Try to.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Just to clarify to the viewers out there, if you guys are watching this, we came up with our dark horse Cy Young, our picks for Cy Young, but the dark horse, just a little
under the
favorite.
When I say dark horse, I mean I meant very dark horse. I mean, I'm talking extremely radical.
You got your Cole, Giolito, Ohtani, the favorites for the Cy Young. You got a little group below them that are right there, striking distance.
Like the Cease, and
you got the Cease, you got the I don't know,
the Gausman, the Berrios, the Eovaldi.
You got those guys exactly. And then below that, you got the dark horse candidates.
So we're looking real dark horse.
We're looking real dark horse here. There's obviously going to be questions that come along with my pick, and but I think there's a chance there, and I'm gonna bank on it.
All right.
Just to give you a little hint, this guy, I don't even think.
Okay.
Like if you go to FanDuel or like any DraftKings or any sports betting site, I don't think this guy even has odds to win the Cy Young. It's that bullish, or it's that.
Wow.
Yeah, under the radar. I don't think.
You went for it.
I really did go for it.
You understood the assignment. You understood the assignment.
I really did understand the assignment of dark horse Cy Young candidate.
Oh man. Wow.
I'll give you a few guesses here. I'll give you like 3 guesses.
All right. I'm going to take 3 guesses, okay?
Or hold on. What about you can take 3 guesses, or you can use the first 2 as questions, and yes or no questions, and you do that.
That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 2 questions, then I'm going to make my guess, all right?
Okay.
My first question.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a right-handed pitcher?
That is such a good question. No.
Oh, well, I mean, thank you for that.
God damn it, bro.
My second question is he under the age of 30?
Yes.
Okay, well, I think I know who this is going to be.
Who is it?
I think I just have to check one age real quick. Your pick was, without a doubt, Jordan Montgomery of the Yankees.
No, it was not.
It was not.
It was not. No! Let's go. I thought you completely had me.
Ah! It was not Montgomery. You're kidding me.
It was not Montgomery. If you want to guess, that doesn't count.
Oh, I know who it was. I know who it was. It was Shane McClanahan.
It was indeed Shane McClanahan.
I was Shane McClanahan. I got it. I knew. That was
So, I mean, like. His problem is that he pitches for the Tampa Bay Rays, and he's not going to get the innings to compete for the Cy Young, I feel like.
Yeah,
but
that pitcher's part too, yeah.
So I think, I don't know, but just looking at him as a pitcher alone, if you take the variables out of it, I think he's a Cy Young candidate type level pitcher. I don't know if he'll break out this year.
So do you really like his secondary stuff? I know the fastball. I'm just not sure about the secondary stuff.
The slider, I think, it needs improvement, but when it doesn't, like when he has it, it's gross. I don't think it's not the best secondary pitches in the league, but I think with his fastball, you can just have an average slider, average changeup, and I think he can. His pitches might play better out of the bullpen, and that might be another reason the Rays use him out of the bullpen as well. But if he does ever get the chance to consistently be in the rotation, I think he has a chance to break out in a big way. And that's just my gut telling me Shane.
All right.
I just watched him a couple of times last year, and this man, when he has it, he has it. Like, he's up there. And I don't know. That's just my pick. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. All right.
I gotta pick. Okay, hold on. I gotta really think about what you would do.
I will give you the same options. You can get either 3 guesses or 2 questions.
Okay. My gut tells me one name out here, but I don't know if I want to just guess that off rip.
I'm sure you know exactly who it is.
I really want to guess him, but I kind of should. I know my brain's telling me I should use the questions before I guess a name.
Use the questions.
Damn. Okay. Okay, has he pitched on this team for more than 1 year?
Yes.
Okay, that takes my guy out of it then. I kind of want to see your projections list, which I don't have out right now. He has. I'm
gonna tell you right away.
Okay.
Actually, I'm not gonna tell you that. Never mind. Okay. No more hints. No hints.
Okay, no hints. Let's think about this. Is he under the... no, I'm not going to do that. I got to use this wisely. Does he pitch in the AL East?
No.
Damn it. Okay, this is tough now.
I thought you knew.
This is no. I was gonna go with Nick Pivetta. That would.
I was about to tell you it was not Pivetta. I was literally gonna say it's not Pivetta.
Really? That would have been my first guess.
I knew you were thinking of him.
I was really thinking of him. I have no idea now. Who would you choose? I should have asked the age thing because now I don't even know if you're going for an older guy, younger guy. But off of what I know from what your list told me, you like the younger guys. So like a Tristan Mckenzie would have been my guess, but like since you ranked him so high,
there, he got it.
Tristan.
Woo-hoo! That's your boy. Yeah,
let's go. I cannot believe I got that.
That's it. You got it.
I actually can't believe I got that. Oh my god.
That's beautiful. Let's Tristan
go.
McKenzie was my dark horse. Very good. So we just got each other's in like sort of two guesses. So.
Yeah, that's
fair. Yeah.
All right.
We know each other very well, I can tell. All right, moving on.